All right, so this is going to be March Madness Push, February 28th, 2020. And the first scenario, loves the galley, wants to think about it. So we got two no's. So at this point, we asked them, do you want to buy the homemaker set? They said, no, I'm not. No, it doesn't work. I want to think about it. I'm not ready to make a decision. No problem. Did you like Cutco? Do you want Cutco? You would use Cutco. Awesome. Just a little unsure. No problem. You're not going to use a butcher knife. You're not going to use a carving set every day. No. Cool. Transition to the galley set. Sell them on why the galley set's awesome. So what do you think? Does that one work better for you? And then they'll say whatever they say, which in this case, they're saying, no, that doesn't work. I'm still unsure. I just need to think about it. So that's our second no. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like to transition out of that. But before I show you what it looks like to transition out of that, would any of you like to give it a shot on how to transition out of that, and then I'll go? Alexis, you're nodding your head because you're sideways. So I can't. It looks like you're nodding it because you're going the right way. On how to handle the second no. They said no to the homemaker, no to the galley. They're using that. I need to think about it before I buy it. Any of you want to give it a shot? And then I'll go, and then we could just see the difference.
All right, I guess I'll go.
Nice.
Yeah. So after they say no to the galley set, usually I'll be like,
This is we're gonna role play. Yep. So no, I just need to think about it.
All right, no problem. So let me ask you, Mrs. Jones, you still like Cutco, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome. And once again, if you had it, you would use it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. So let me ask you, which one tool would you feel like you would use least? Which one?
Probably the fork.
All right, no problem. So I do want to ahead and go and show you these other sets that I have available. Here I have a Space Saver, which doesn't have that carving fork that you said you wouldn't use. It's an all knife set. As you see, it has all the knives that you would use. And then I also have this, I think it was Space Saver, that doesn't have the carving fork also. Now, let me ask you, Mrs. Jones, would you see yourself using either or of these sets? Either of these sets?
Cool. We'll stop there.
Mm.
Cool. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it. Thanks for having the courage to go. So I'll go ahead and do this for you, and then we'll see what you think. So at this point in time, my sheet of paper is written out. All right. So I have this written out on my sheet of paper. I have this written out on my sheet of paper, and I have this written out on my sheet of paper. So if you can't tell what that is, $10 a knife, 8 knives. This is from page 3 in the training manual. And then this over here is from page 8 in the training manual of $18,000 they could save by eating out less. Mm-hmm. Then I have, it's not quite 4,000. It's not quite 3,400. The homemaker set is only 287. Then I drop down to the galley. The galley, I don't even know, was it 971, I believe, and 207, something like that, which is $52 a week. So it looks something like this. So then I have this drop down to the galley set right there. And now I ask for the sale. So Ashley, since we're already having the conversation, will be my customer. So Miss Ashley, would you like to go and get the galley set today? Say, no, I need to think about it.
No, I need to think about it.
Cool. Hey, no problem. You did say you like Cutco though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And sometimes it's tough to make a decision on the spot. I totally understand. If there was something that you wanted to think about, what was it specifically that you wanted to think about? Like, is it like, would you use it? Do you feel like it's just like too much money? What is it specifically that you wanted to think about?
I feel like it's like a little too much money.
Got it. Totally understand. So here's one of the things that many of my customers understand is that the best way to think about Cutco, and really the best way to think about anything, is by actually using it and trying it out and taking for a test drive, cutting up all your favorite foods, cooking with it. That's the best way to think about it while you're using it. So, Ms. Jones, and by the way, please don't mistake my enthusiasm for Cutco as being rude or pushy. I just really love Cutco, and I just think everyone should have the opportunity at owning it. So I want to do a good job at showing you all of your options just to see if we might be able to find something that works for you and for your family, because Cutco's made for families, and we have something for any family on any budget. I'm sure we'll be able to find something that works for you and yours. So let me ask you this, Miss Jones. Out of the tools that are in this Galley set, which one do you feel like you would use the least? The
I
fork?
guess. Yeah,
Okay.
the fork.
Okay, cool. And would you use a block?
Yeah.
You'd use a block? Cool. And you use the table knives, right?
No.
No, no table knives? Okay, no worries. So no fork, yes to a block, no table knives. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's, I think we have a perfect set that you might really like. See, this is the essential set. Probably not the best idea because it has the fork. So probably not the best idea. But this studio set, Miss Jones, this might be a really good option for you. No fork, comes in a block, no table knives. It's a basic studio set. It comes with these 4 tools here. That might be a best option for you. But let me just show you these others. The Space Saver set might be a good option too. No fork, comes in a block, no table knives. That might be a really good option too. And it comes with these tools here. Then the all knife set and the kitchenette set, they come in a tray. So there's no block. The kitchenette set has a fork, so probably not the best option. So the all knife set, no fork, comes in a tray, no table knives. So out of the all knife set, Space Saver set, Studio set, which one of those 3 options and combinations do you like the best?
I like the Space Saver.
Space Saver set's one of the most purchased sets that we have out of this group. Can I give you a price on that set? I think you might like it.
Sure, go ahead.
Perfect. And then I present the price.
Mhm.
So let me let's go for some air. What are some observations of how I presented the transition from here and transitioned into the starter packages? What are some observations and some things you noticed? And then we'll go into the next scenario. Anyone? Okay, Alexa, go ahead.
I liked how at the end you gave them options out of the 3 that you thought would be best for them, and asked which one out of those 3 which they would use the most. So it was basically like the same clothes as the homemaker, but just on something else. And I definitely been dropping down like in the similar way by asking about which would use the least, the block and the tables, but I hadn't been phrasing the last part like that.
Cool. And specifically the last part, meaning when you find the options,
Yeah.
asking them which one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the red, black, or white. You know, if you were considering
Yeah.
color you like best, it's like if you were considering one of these packages, which combinations you like the best? Cool, good observation. Any other observations on any of the the transitions, the questions, the phrases?
I guess when so like after you like they say no, you're like, you totally understand, and you're like, it's not easy to make a decision on the spot. You reassure them that it might be a little bit too much money, but then you then assure them that there is a set for everyone, since like Cutco is your family, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe there is a set for me. Like you make them think that, and then you show them the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a really specific phrase there, and that phrase was the best way to what our customers have found is the best way to think about something is while they're actually using it. Right? That was one of the phrases. And then the other phrase was, and by the way, please don't mistake my enthusiasm for Cutco as being rude or pushy. I just really love Cutco. And this is being recorded, so you can rewind it or whatever, watch it to get the phrasing. But I highly recommend you write it down. So please don't mistake my enthusiasm for Cutco as being rude or pushy. I just really love Cutco. I think everyone should have a chance at owning it. And I want to do a good job at showing you all the options. I also like the phrase that Cutco is made for families. And we have something for every family on any budget. I'm sure we'll find something for you. Right? So those are a couple of textbook phrases that help with that scenario when a customer says, I need to think about it. or after they've already said no a couple of times. Cool. So let's go to the next scenario. Already has a trimmer and a spatula spreader, and we go into the demo. We ask them, go ahead and take out your favorite knives, and they take out a trimmer and a spatula spreader, and they already own Cutco. Okay, those are their two favorites. Now, how do we get them in the upgrade mindset? So that way they don't just get to the end of the appointment and be like, I'll just buy one or two knives just to add them to my set, versus getting them to an upgrade mindset during the demo. So that way, by the time you get to the end of your appointment, they're like, okay, so I'm in the mindset of upgrading to a set, versus in the mindset of, all right, I'll add on a couple extra pieces. So this is going to be a couple of ideas. So step one, when you're building rapport, and you ask them, what type of cooking do you do? Have you ever heard of Cutco before? If you don't ask those questions, I do suggest asking those on every appointment. And they say, oh yeah, I've heard of Cutco before. We actually have a couple of pieces. Then I always ask them to grab them. Do you mind grabbing them and taking them out? I want to see what shape they're in. I want to see what they look like. I want to see how old they are. I want to see how they're treating their knives. And they'll probably pull those two knives out of the drawer. And I would make a junk knife nasty face and be like, did you just pull those out of the drawer? Oh my God. That's like owning a Bentley and keeping it parked in the street where everyone could like crash into it and scratch it and hit it. And oh my goodness, you made that large investment into your Bentley and then you just throw it where anyone could scratch it up. It's okay, Miss Jones. Here's the phrase. It's okay, Miss Jones. So a lot of customers, they end up starting with a couple of items, but now that once they already own Cutco, they're considered a preferred customer and they're eligible for upgrades and discounts. And I'll show you all of that during the presentation today on how that all works, just in case you wanted to take advantage of that as well. So since you already own Cutco, you're actually eligible for upgrades and discounts. So I'll show you what all that looks like during the presentation, just in case you want to take advantage of any of that. That'll be up to you, but I'll show you all the options with that. So step one, I've already planted the seed about upgrades. Step two, when I cut the penny and I show the peeler, I say, by the way, most of my customers get these items for free with their upgrade. I'll show you how that works at the end as well. So now I've seed planted the upgrade twice. Step three, when I do the full junk knife page, I gross them out. I'm like, and you already know this, that's why you bought Cutco. You don't want to deal with the wood. You don't want to do it. But here's what you have to understand. If they only have two pieces of Cutco, they're probably still using their wood handle chef knife. They're probably still using their crappy, bread knife because they only have two pieces of Cutco. So you still want to do a full junk knife page. And then when you end that page, it's like, by the way, Miss Jones, if you did choose to upgrade, just saying something like that. By the way, Miss Jones, if you choose to upgrade today, you'll be able to get rid of all of your old stuff. If you have any of these in your kitchen still, you'll be able to get rid of all these if you did choose to upgrade. That's step three. That's third seed plant. Step four, when you do the guarantee specifically, the 15-day trial period, that's the next stop for the upgrade. Miss Jones, most people, and this is during the 15-day trial period, Miss Jones, most people, when they choose to upgrade, they just take advantage of this trial period right here. It's 15 business days, which is 3 weeks. So when they upgrade, they could try everything out in the upgrade first, and then they only have to pay for what they keep. So they could keep all of it, none of it, or some of it. They only pay for what they keep. And you're able to put down just a little deposit to test drive your upgrade and make sure you love it before you keep everything. And if you decide to keep everything, worst case scenario, you pay for what you keep. Best case scenario, you keep everything and you get a bunch of free stuff and a bunch of discounts. That'll be up to you. But at least you know that you could try everything out for a couple of weeks before you make a final decision. Isn't that really cool? That is really cool. Next stop for your upgrade. When you show the names and uses and you show all the different tools, and you say, by the way, Miss Jones, this is the first set that I'm going to show you that most families upgrade to. So it's called the Homemaker set. Now we do have other options that you could upgrade to, but this is the most popular. So I'm going to show you what the set that most people upgrade to. It's called your Homemaker set. Now you already have the trimmer and spatula spreader. Boom. And then I'll do a full names and uses on every one of those other tools. If they have a trimmer, they're using that thing for everything. So they're chopping with that trimmer. The front of their tip of that trimmer, like this part of the trimmer, is probably all flat, probably using that to chop on a cutting board. I mean, they're abusing the hell out of those knives. So I'm helping them see the benefit of having the right tool for the right job. By the way, Ms. Jones, if you do get your upgrade, you also get this petite carver. With your upgrade, you also get this chef knife. I'm saying that all the time. With your upgrade, you also get this bread knife. With your upgrade, you can throw away all your old knives because you'll get one of these. Comes in a block, comes with a cutting board, comes with a sharpener, comes with 8 of the table knives. You do everything else the same. So by the time I got to my closing, step 6 and step 7, and start doing the negotiations, I already said upgrade probably a dozen times or more. Now, the close, when I'm asking for the sale, believe it or not, I'm going to do the same exact close and I'm going to sell it at the $13.26 price. The difference, what I do is I say, since you already own Cutco and you own these 2 items, you're going to have 2 options. Now this is where it gets fun. You're going to have 2 options. You'll have duplicates of the trimmer and the spatula spreader because it already comes in the set. So you could take the brand new ones and send the brand new ones back to Cutco and get a full refund for those 2 knives. Option 2, you could take the brand new ones, Miss Jones. I'll send you a gift box, and now you have a gift for your next holiday, Mother's Day, birthday, anniversary, and you have a gift taken care of. Or option number 3, since they're your 2 favorites, you just have duplicates and just keep 2 of them. So that way when the other 2 are in the dishwasher, you at least have a couple on deck, since they're your 2 favorites anyway. And what's nice is you don't have to make the decision today of what you want to do with those 2 duplicates. You can make that decision over the course of those 2 weeks, 3 weeks of using the knives. So that's how I would close. And I would use that as my leverage, where you do the same thing, same demo, same everything, drop down the same way, using those 3 options as what they could do with their trimmer and the spatula spreader that they already own. So I just want to help you see the benefit of why you want to help them get the set and not do it piece by piece. A Homemaker Plus 8, if you see right here, if they purchase a Homemaker Plus 8 separately, it's over $1,540. By doing a 1326, it automatically saves them $214 savings. So if you piece by piece by piece the Homemaker set and just not have them not buy the trimmer and the spatula spreader again, they're going to spend more money. Do it as the package, the 1326 package, have the replica items, mail those suckers back and get a refund on those 2 items. And then they also get free stuff, because when they do the Homemaker set, you can give them up to $275 in free Cutco. It's a much better deal for them. Also, under this umbrella, this is why you always want to sell sets versus individual pieces, because when they're ready to upgrade and buy more later, they're going to end up spending more money. You might as well help them see the value in getting the set today. So let me come up for some air before we transition into the recommendations, which is I'll speak to my friends first, and then we'll make 5 quick phone calls. What observations or light bulbs from that segment of I already own a trimmer and a spatula spreader upgrade that was a good reminder for you, or something you're like, wow, I never even thought about that, or that was really helpful? Or questions? Yeah, Alexis, go for it.
I've actually had a customer who had just a trimmer And I was trying to do the upgrade with her, and this would have been very beneficial. But basically, I think helping them see the benefit of the different tools was really big, because if they don't know why it's important to have the different tools, they think just having the trimmer is fine, because they think since it's super versatile, they can use it for everything. But the tip of hers was actually broken off. And I think it's important to explain that if you're going to be making this big investment, then why would you be using it for the wrong thing?
Yeah, that's a great observation. And one of the things that you do during the names and uses section is use an analogy. I always love the analogy. I should have said this before, but you just struck the chord. It's like, so Miss Jones, having like two pieces of Cutco is kind of like having two pairs of shoes. You know, it's like you have the ones you wear all the time. I totally get that, right? You wear the tennis shoes and you wear the flip flops, especially here in Florida. But then you want to go to a wedding, and then you only have flip flops or your sneakers. So which one are you going to pick? And then you go for, then you go dancing with the girls, and then you go, working out in the yard, and then you go, um, you know, you could fill in the blank, right? So if you only have two pairs of shoes, you're going to wear those suckers down really, really, really fast. Not only going to wear them down really, really fast, you also might not have the right shoe for the right occasion either. And that's why you have different shoes. Same reason why you have different tools for in the set. So excellent. Thanks for that. Any other takeaways from that segment that you're like, man, I never thought about that, or that was a good reminder for me when doing upgrades before we transition to recommendations and then make 5 calls real fast?
I liked how you kept seed planting at the beginning about upgrade, 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 with different like things you normally say. Usually, what I do when it's with the Cutco owner, basically just like I'll show them like the quality and the guarantee. Talk to them about things they might have forgotten because they bought it. Usually, they bought it like years ago, and then I would be like, oh, and then I would show them the homemaker and make a wish list for them. And then usually they buy it, or they're like, okay, I'll think about it. But I didn't think about, I never thought about what you said, which is good. I thought
Yeah.
it was really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point, because what oftentimes reps do is they'll leave the decision up to the customer. They'll let the customer make the decision versus the representative effectively influencing them on how I want them to think. I'm the expert. I'm the sales rep. I'm influencing their decision making. So that's a great reminder there. All right, last couple of minutes, recommendations. So customer says, I want to speak to my friends first. Okay, so you just asked for recommendations. You went, so Ms. Jones, you remember that sponsorship I mentioned in the beginning? Great. There's one more very important part. Here's you can really help me out. I get paid every time I show Cutco. I only call people I'm personally recommended to. So what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up, or if you're on the virtual demo, is just to help me jot down 200 to 300 people. I'm just kidding. Just 10 to 20 that might be nice enough to help me out. Not necessarily people are going to buy, just people nice like you to take a look. And the way that sponsorship works is for every 50 sponsors I get, the company gives me $150 cash scholarship. And I could use that to pay for books and school supplies. All you need to do to be a sponsor, Ms. Jones, is just get to this first level right here of 10. And if you get to 20, you become a double sponsor and count twice towards a sponsorship. So I have a pen, since many of you are doing virtuals, I have a pen, and flip 10, flip 10, flip 10, flip 10. And I have a blank sheet of paper right here. So who off the top of your head are the nicest people that might be nice enough to help me out? We'll start with the names and then come back to the phone numbers. So who do you know that's nice? And by the way, Miss Jones, most people put me on speakerphone while they scroll through their contacts. And then Alexis, you'll say, I'd like to speak to my friends first.
Yeah, I just really want to talk to my friends first before I give out their numbers.
Totally understand. Totally understand. Now, Miss Jones, just so I know, Alexis, what is it that you want to talk to them about specifically? Because most of the time when I hear customers say that, they want to talk to them about like, hey, are you looking for knives? Are you looking to buy or something like that? And most of the time people say no, that they're really not interested in that. So what is it that you want to talk to them about first? I'm curious.
Just about if it's okay if I give out their phone number, because I don't want to give out their phone number to someone they don't know.
Got it. Okay, got it. That makes total sense. So I apologize, Miss Alexis, if I wasn't if I didn't explain this the right way. This recommendation is more of like an introduction, kind of like imagine if I was over your house right now and I was sitting at your kitchen table and say five of your closest friends and family members walked through the door, like your mom, your sister, your husband's sister, your husband's mom, like five of the closest people to you walk through the door. Would you hide me in the closet or like put a lampshade over my head and say, you hide in here? Let me ask these people for permission before I introduce you to them. Probably not. You'd probably just introduce me, right, Miss Jones? I know it sounds kind of silly, but that's essentially what all this is. It's just an introduction. So who are like the people closest to you that I could introduce myself to? And you could obviously facilitate the introduction by shooting them a quick heads up text message. But just so that I could introduce myself to them too. Maybe your most common is like your mom, your sister, your husband's sister, your husband's mom. I'm sure if you start there, you could easily get like at least 4 or 5 or 6 real quick, and it would help me out a ton. And I couldn't wait to meet them. What do you think? Who off the top of your head would be the nicest people that I could introduce myself to? Cool. So, any observations on how to handle that scenario?
Definitely asking them like an analogy. Would you hide me in the closet? Like obviously they're not gonna say no. And I really like how you phrased it. It's like an introduction. Because I think by saying that it's a lot less intimidating and it's not so much about um, I'm giving out your number to someone you don't know. It's just, hey, I'm doing you a favor and helping you out with your scholarship just by introducing you to people. It sounds a lot less intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely. Davis, yeah, I thought you were going to say something.
The analogy that you put out honestly works great. So I'm gonna try to use it for my next couple of demonstrations, where it comes like, oh, let's say some people walk through the door, and like, are you gonna hide me or not? Like, that's honestly a great analogy. I like that.
Good. Now remember, these tools are specific to this scenario. So you use these tools specific to the scenario. So you wouldn't use this every time. You use this if you ever hear, I need to speak to my friends first. Same thing with the upgrade analogy. You do that if they already own a couple of pieces of Cutco. But think about it now. Like, so everything you learn today is specific to scenarios. If you want to get fundamentally sound, make sure you sign up for Tuesday or Wednesday when we do our next skills checks. Tuesday from 2 to 4 and Wednesday from 4 to 6. Now, if you want to set up a specific time on Sunday, I'm sure one of the coaches would sit down with you on Sunday while we're all at the office and do a skills check with you then to get fundamentally sound. So I appreciate you all for joining in. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you got some sort of value from joining in today. And I would invite you. I'm not going to mandate it, but I'm going to highly, highly encourage and invite you while you're excited and you're in the Cutco mind. What do you think I'm going to ask you to do real fast?
Make phone calls.
Hey, can you crank out 5 calls real fast? 5 calls real fast on cue. Hey, even if you're booked, book up next week, book up 2 weeks from now. The push ends next Monday. Could we crank out 5 quick phone calls? See if you get a pickup. And if you get a pickup, boom, can you get an extra appointment booked up? You know, Alexis just had, we were just talking $1,500 in sales from just making these phone calls. Like, that's it. Like, it's not more difficult than that, but you got to start on the phones in order to use these tools. So thank you for joining in. I'll look on cue and post those flying dollar emojis as you get those appointments.
Thank you.